little fun there. The point of that was to say that you in these phygital networks are able to kind of express yourself and be yourself because you're speaking to a network of people that are all kind of framed around a very similar mindset, and they have similar appreciations or tolerances, if you will. For me, that's a big thing. So welcome to the dashboard here. I appreciate that you got your POG. You invited me into your life. That's kind of cool. And what I want to do with this POG is be able to constantly give you an update on the pulse of NFC. And the pulse, not so much on what everybody else is doing, but how NFC Swag is promoting these networks and how they are growing and how people are taking advantage of them, because in my opinion, this is the most powerful way you can use NFC. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We got a lot more in store. So there are a couple of approaches that you can take, and I want you to be aware of them across the board. Doesn't matter if you're a small business or large. This is all scalable, whether it's corporate or individual, whatever. It could also apply to a political campaign, a celebrity, somebody promoting their music, whatever the case may be, their art, their events, etc. These POGs, which you should now have yours, these POGs give you access in a phygital way. They give you access to myself, to the network, to whatever's around this theme. And that's not too different from a Facebook group or whatever, or, a bunch of people meeting at a coffee shop. But the idea is that when you tap in, you're coming into a very specific environment. One that your mind is already established to understand that this is what I'm going to get while I'm in here. Now, if that's your particular environment and it's the one that you've crafted and created and built a phygital network of POGs to distribute around, then you know that when they come in here, they're thinking along that specific line. I mean, if you're a gas station, people are coming in because evidently they want to be somehow connected to what it is that you're offering. And you may say, well, I'm a gas station and nobody really wants to know about gas on a regular basis. No, but they might get really excited about an experience that is saturated around the tap-in of a POG, so that when they come in with their phone and they tap in, they're tapping into a story. Maybe they're tapping into a game. Maybe they're tapping into something that's relevant to that gas station in the area, like a fishing almanac and all cool fishing stuff, whatever the case may be. Individually, we can craft your campaign to speak to your audience directly or indirectly, and that's where the entertainment piece comes in. That's where the partnerships come in. There may be somebody else who's successfully got 10, 20,000 POGs in circulation around a story and an experience that they're giving to, say, a bunch of young kids, and you come in and say, hey, I would like to speak to that audience, and you can sponsor POGs. Buy POGs that have your logo on them or a reference to you. This particular POG is sponsored by plastic printers, yet it's my tap-in network. Don't know which way that's showing you. And what happens with that is you now get the benefit of the exposure that this particular story or whatever the case may be, event, a game that's backing a POG, whatever. You get the benefit of the exposure that excitement is creating, and then they recognize, the members who tap in recognize that you're relating to them at this level. And, it's not different than, sponsoring a go-kart race or a football team or NASCAR, putting your logo on the back of a boat or something. So it's kind of that same concept. And all of these concepts are not new. They're just all being run through a phygital connection, which creates a shift in the paradigm, because now it's personal. Now it's a world they have expectations of, and it's very connected, so you don't need to do a whole lot of shotgun marketing to bring people in. I can simply hand you a POG and make that invitation. I can bring you in off the web, as I do through a funnel on my website, which you may desire to implement as well. But there are several different ways to approach using these, and that's what I want to go over, because they're very versatile. Number one, you can build your own network. It's really hard to get that straight up and down when you can't see it except for that way. It's okay, so you build your own network. In this case, I'm building one for NFC Swag, but if that gas station wanted to build a network, think of them as vertical networks. And for whatever reason, I like this kind of scenario. Think of this POG as being the foundation of what it is that you're building. And upon that foundation, you're going to create a vertical platform that people will interact with. So maybe you have a menu-driven type of thing for your products and services, almost like a website. But prior to that, when they first come in, there's an exciting video, there's demonstrations of the product. Maybe you're telling a story and you want people to just simply engage your POG, and your POG in this science fiction story is a laser beam. Then when you come in, it's like a portal, and you portal in, and you're always portaling into the quarterdeck. And then from there, they're able to sign up to experience the story trickle in through email or additional tap-ins. Maybe every morning they tap in and that story plays to them, and they're able to hear 10 minutes of their favorite story. But maybe it also has hidden clues in it that allow them to run around the community to be able to, pick up those clues or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. That fictional approach could all be coming from this. Maybe you're an author and every morning you want people to tap in, and immediately 10 minutes, 15 minutes of you reading your latest novel starts playing. Or maybe you're a coach, and every morning you want people to be able to tap in and get motivated for the day as they're getting their shower ready or whatever, and you're there with a brand new message for them each and every day. Those types of communication can happen through a POG. But then maybe you want to operationally use it, and you want to incorporate this in your retail store to where there's a POG on every single product and people can tap in and find more information. That's a really one-dimensional way of this getting used. But what if they could take a POG with them? And when they take that POG with them, it's it's the ability for that vendor sponsors this POG, but when they take it, it goes back to your website, your dashboard for your store, right? And so now you sell sponsorships to everybody that'll buy one. You hang the POGs out, people pull them, they remember Doritos and they remember your store, but when they tap in, they see your store content and Doritos as a branded sponsor. Imagine where you could go with that. So there's the ability to use them operationally. There's the ability to use them as a sales tool to simply pass them out when people get them. It's more or less a sales funnel that they tap into. You could use it as marketing, which is this concept of building a network and constantly nurturing that network. You can even use them, like I said, in a campaign kind of way where you are just simply trying to distribute a lot of POGs to get people to tap in, maybe take a survey, maybe give their thoughts and opinions. If it's a political type of thing, maybe you use it in a church or synagogue or some aspect of the community in order to draw people into a final space. Maybe you build a network or already have a network, and you can utilize this, as the Friendship Pod does on my homepage, as a central point of connection, both physically and digitally. Hence, we call it phygital. And whatever the case may be, that POG becomes kind of that central point, and it becomes a foundation. And then once you build your vertical on this, what happens is along comes another POG, a partner POG. I'm really doing well here. A partner POG comes along and they say, hey, we're going to partner with NFC Swag. And so when people tap in to our Okanagan Valley Orchestra and Chorus Broadway show and they tap in and find out about the musical, they're also going to get exposure to NFC Swag. But when they tap into NFC Swag, they're also going to get exposure to OVOC. And what's going to happen is when people come into town for NFC events, they're going to know that they can go to OVOC and find all the calendar of things going on in the area for while they're here. Anything that we haven't planned will obviously be available. You could have time before and after your trip maybe to extend yourself. But now we've been able to digitally partner without having a whole lot of interaction between us necessary, because it just takes a link from this network to a link to this network in order to create that synergy. Now, if Ovoc's out there putting out POGs and I'm out there putting out POGs, we've exponentially increased the amount of exposure that we collectively have. And what's cool is if that kind of external network continues to grow for you and you reach out to a friend who reaches out to a friend, you can see the exponential potential of that kind of synergy. So come up with the best theme, come up with the most exciting idea that you can pack around this POG before we decide. And so before we decide to, print 1,000 of them, 10,000 of them, 100,000 of them, and get them out there. So what we have below here is a dashboard. Two of them actually, a private one and a public one. You won't really see the difference from your experience, other than I do think we annotate it, and this design will get tighter and better as it matures. But the top dashboard is just you and me. Now this video is being purposely put into the top dashboard, though everybody below this personal piece will see this. However, this video is actually copied into each personal dashboard so everybody sees this. It's a generic video. I'm sorry, I couldn't do this every single time, right? So this is a generic video copied into your personal dashboard. However, if I wanted everybody to see this, I simply would copy it into the public dashboard, and everybody that taps in the network would be able to see it. But right now, only you can see this video, although I've copied it to everybody. Does that make sense? Now, if I and you start working on Google Docs together, as you will see below, to get through the 7 steps that it takes to build one of these campaigns to be successful, if we start annotating our notes in there, that's a private Google Doc. This is a private connection between us. So we have this anonymity. Now, I wouldn't say it's so private that it couldn't be hacked and stolen, but it is not a shared connection. This aspect of it is a non-Google indexed page portion that just you and I can speak on. So what that does is it allows me to give you personalized service, and gives you a direct connection to me that that nobody else necessarily shares. So the information that goes on there is very unique, and it keeps us having, it may take 6 months for you to build a campaign that you're comfortable with or are ready to invest in. And if that's the case, we have a means by which to engage each other and make that happen. And then down below in the public section, well, now I'm able to offer NFC info and content and links and create examples and show a lot of different people how this all works, and so that becomes a public section. I've mashed up a calendar into this dashboard. I've mashed up links. I think I've thrown in some Twitter feeds based on a hashtag, and it will continue in this particular network to really fill this this dashboard up with different examples of how we're using these NFC POGs to create these different types of results and shifting the paradigm enough to create new opportunity where revenue could be generated and impact can be made. That's kind of what we're all about. Another aspect, probably the last one I'll mention here, because this has got to be wearing on you, but another aspect I'll mention is that okay, so you can come in as a sponsor of someone else's campaign. If it makes sense, it might make more sense than trying to build your own campaign. If you're building your own campaign, I can start out right now at $2,000 plus about $297 a month and give you enough POGs and a strategy and a dashboard in order to move you to the next step. If you want to go a little better than that, we're talking $5,000 to start. You can stay at that $297 a month level for the POGs, but from there scale it up. Beyond that, if it's a corporate level dashboard, we're looking at 10 to 20K for the dashboard. But that dashboard would be very rich and data rich and things of this nature. And then beyond that, ever how many POGs you want to put into circulation. And they don't have to be POGs. It can be any kind of swag. And of course, if you've been to the website, you can see that we have the Phonester, which are just phone holders, but we also have this same concept in coasters. We can do the same thing with sunglasses, whatever. Keychains are a big one for like real estate and insurance reps, etc. So there's a lot of solutions that we can come up with, and the swag is part of the steps that we take to be able to find that solution. But you can get sponsors, you can sponsor, you can go get sponsors to help you pay for this. 3 or 4 of you can network together around a common idea, maybe your nonprofit idea between 4 or 5 businesses that you all have a passion for. That becomes the theme of your POG, and then you sponsor, you create that theme, you attract those people, and then you are the sponsor, so you get the brand recognition both on the POGs, in the devices, and if you decide to use email as well, and across your content that you put on the web. So this becomes a place for very tight and close knit partnerships that can result in pretty impactful results. But the other thing about it is it's inbound. And I can't emphasize this enough. NFC Swag is a place that we can build, that we can be comfortable in. I'm comfortable sitting right here talking to you at this level of engagement, this level, I'm not sitting in an office with a tie on or whatever, because the relationship I want to establish is one of casual. Because these kind of have that same effect. Meaning I don't force emails on you, and I'm not trying to come at you with a message. What I've done is I've created a beehive, and I'm asking the bees to come get some honey, right? And help me make more honey, simply by contributing their value, by being an extension of this network, by engaging the world around them, distributing their own value. It's doing it. Everything revolves around the network itself. The more people contribute to it, and the more they contribute, the greater the value of this POG literally goes up in ROI and redeemability and a whole lot of things. But the idea is that people tap into you. You're not reaching out there trying to get them to tap in. You're not doing all of that. If there's any of it, it might be in how you distribute your POG. If you're distributing your POG through mass mail, and you're just sticking them in the mail and sending them out to everybody, yeah, okay, so now you're falling into that kind of similar trend. Is that a valid strategy? Very well may be. My approach that I'm trying to encourage you, though, is to be very select and to put POGs in people's hands that want this experience, and then provide them with so much value inside of that experience that you emotionally engage them, you nurture them, you educate them, you give them resources and paths to go down, and you transform them, which is the key, on a regular basis with each engagement. And if you do that, you now build up true friends, true friendships, true relationships that can be substantiated with sponsorships and things of that nature. And what we end up doing is creating a network of people that want to be there. And in my networks, I don't want to send emails to people. I don't even want them to opt in. The only time I want them to opt in is if I have more to tell them than I have time to tell them. If in 3 emails I could break this apart, or maybe it's easier for me, because as you can tell I like to talk, maybe it's easier to just give you 3 emails and let you over a few days digest a concept. I'm all for that. But no longer is it necessary for me to interrupt you and to kind of calamitize your life. All I have to do is offer you a piece of NFC swag that you can keep in a relevant area of your life in a physical way, and I compel you through the imagery and the experience you get when you tap in. I compel you to tap in. Sure, maybe I'll send you an email once in a while if I see you haven't tapped in and say, hey, this is what's been going on. But I'm not selling you. I'm not marketing to you. I'm not shoving stuff down your throat. I'm compelling you through a value proposition. Every friendship has to have that, right? There has to be value proposition between 2 people, especially the older and busier you get. If you can't get value out of it, you got to move on, and that person becomes somebody you maybe hang out with on the holidays or only when you're having downtime. But other than that, there's got to be value propositions that go on between friends. And so NFC Swag represents a new way of approaching networking and collaborating. It creates a kind of a open grid, if you will, that allows us to very specifically and physically connect with one another, and digitally where the resources and the leverage is, and the worldwide, of course, exposure. But you marry these two together, and now you have something that can be uniquely satisfying for each and every person. And it can be so well, it can be maintained at a very personal level. What you're getting from me in this is just me, and I'm a hack, designing an interface that allows me to, on a daily basis, change it and engage with you. But, you know, if we were doing it at a professional level with the team, with Key Difference Media, production, well, then it would be at a much higher, could be at a much higher level, but it would require maybe a little more maintenance than I have the capacity to work with at this point. You yourself will be at the same level of questioning. How much do I want to engage my audience? How many assets do I already have that I can utilize to engage my audience? And how can we align all of those in order to create a platform that moves forward 6 months, 12 months, 18 months into the future without having to put a lot of resources into rebuilding new assets? Once we figure out how much of that we can accomplish and deliver to your audience in order to create a path of engagement that is successful, well, then we have a great feel for how much punch we can put into the pogs and how robust your dashboard needs to be. And we find the happy medium that allows us to reach out, pull your audience in, and begin to nurture them. And then from there, as you generate revenue, you're able to put it back into the platform and grow it exponentially to whatever level. Nothing revolutionary. I'm feeling like I'm saying something that everybody will recognize, and it is. Nothing new on the back end. This is just a website and a business plan, right? But on the front end, you got to think about it as a phygital network, that this becomes the paradigm of the what do they call it, the fulcrum of, or the foundation. We've got all kinds of things we can call it. But once we do that and recognize that, now the strategies start to flow. And we start to think, oh, I could, as a coach, educate an entire network of people, and then I could sell sponsorships to other people. And you can take affiliate codes and you can program them into the URL. Wouldn't that be cool? And now you can have these out there and hand them out and make affiliates, sales. And imagine if you could make affiliate sales phygitally. You could literally empower even the homeless to pass out swag on your behalf and give them a commission. No, Harmonic Humanity is doing just that, and they do it with CDs and awesome contributors on those CDs, musicians that all have very established platforms who contribute to this. By adding the phygital pog to their paradigm, now those who are passing out CDs are able to pass out a more a pog that can include a whole lot more information, be so much more valuable, and gives them an opportunity, of course, to carry these around and make money and keep it. But they're also still pointing them back to the music that is the essence of the program. So it just becomes another avenue. But that being said, that means you can use it in almost any way. And what we want to do is we want to have a conversation eventually. So what this will mean is you and I are going to connect here. You tap in on a regular basis, and I will continue to work with you through and click the button and let's schedule a call. And we will fill up this Google Sheets, and we will figure out your campaign. Or maybe we just get on the phone in 30 minutes, we're ready to bang it out, and you let me know your budget. The reason for the budget is because there's a lot of components here. There's dashboards, there's potential like sales funnels, there's your assets and how we're going to move them into place. There's also the pogs themselves. So we want to understand where you are at so that we can integrate that. Do we want to spend time finding a sponsor if you're in a position where that would be the best approach? There's a lot of times that you can launch these campaigns and already be generating revenue from them because you can, and we've got an entire sponsorship approach, 7 different sponsorships that you can sell for each campaign. And then you just increase the value of your network, which increases the value of your sponsorships with each new sign up. So anyhow, those are some of the, and that's just me rambling. This is why you've got to experience the POG yourself. You've got to be able to tap in and go, okay, I see what's going on here. You know, this guy talked forever. I wouldn't talk forever. I'd put 5 videos and splice them up. That's what I want you to do. I want you to get excited about what would it look like when somebody taps into what I'm doing, my book, you know, my children's book. Nobody's reading it, but what if I could pass these out and they were to tap in and get a sense of my passion and what I'm doing, and I could teach them more and more about the different varieties of bird that I'm passionate about, or how the eagles nest and whatever it is that they're doing. What if I could bring that out in this environment? Then you could click here and learn more about eagles, and you could click here and an eagle would visit you because I have somebody that can actually deliver eagles to you. All right, and or tap in and there is a giveaway contest. I'm going to give away a life-size eagle that's been, you know, carved out of marble. And you're going to pay the shit it costs. No, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give away, because maybe it just came into my possession somehow. You know how the law of attraction works. You know, you're into eagles, and all of a sudden everywhere you go, you know, there are eagles showing up, or people are giving you eagles for birthdays, or whatever the case may be, and now you have this plethora of eagles. Well, use them, give them away, give a gift away, hey, when you tap in, you won, and we can do all that kind of stuff. So my point is, this gives you an opportunity to just kind of sit back and go, what kind of world would I create? Right? Some people would say it'd be fictional and everything would come through a metaphor, and you'd really have to get lost in my kind of Starbucks environment so that I could get you to pay $5 for a 12-cent cup of coffee, if that is the scenario, you know, in case that you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a great way to approach it. I love doing that. That's what Mobius Key and other 40 stories are all about. Maybe you're an author and you just want to tell your story, or maybe you have, like I said, an agenda or a political agenda, or you want to grow your entity, whatever the case may be. Maybe you just want to be popular and you pass these things out and everybody gets to know you. Maybe you want to put your resume and your CV behind this. Maybe you want to do something very personal. Maybe you want to send one of these to a CEO and say, hey, I'm the right guy for the job. Except I can't hold that upright. I'm the right guy for the job. Tap in and find out why. And now you've connected. How long will you be able to do this in a unique fashion before everybody's doing it and knowing how to hold this thing when they do that? Could be 12 months, could be 18 months, could be 24, could be 3. NFC's coming on, and with these kind of networks, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon, because this, you know, if you utilize a funnel like at nfcswag.com to give these away as a lead, hence how you probably got yours by filling out a form, that allows me to filter the type of people I want involved in this network, right? And that allows us to have a relationship that's at a level that's conducive to what we're doing here. But another particular network may not want that kind of a filter. They may want people to join at a much more rapid rate because they're selling sponsors to Coca-Cola Company. Whatever the case may be, your choice. You decide. We use this space to design your campaign if need be. If not, let's just get on the phone and work it out. It's not a big deal. And from there, we'll get this thing rolling into motion, and we will keep you apprised through this POG. I just lost my video. Through this POG, we'll keep you apprised of what the network's doing and how it's growing, and you'll start to get a sense of how your POG, the one in this one, the upside down one, is increasing in value, and you'll be excited to build your own foundation with one of these POGs and your own vertical so that you can partner and sponsor out in such a way that brings value to your own POG. And so when I send you a POG, you're going to get this POG, which is my network POG, but then I'm also going to hand print, not hand print, what does that mean? I'm going to print a custom demo POG for you, and I thought I had one handy, but it doesn't seem like it's within my view. And I'm going to just, with a sticker, I'm going to cover this NFC Swag POG with your logo or with what I think would work, because I want you to get a sense of it, and then I want you to tap on it. And when you tap on that, that's going to take you to your website or one of your something that's going to, you know, that's going to be related to what we're doing very specifically. And so get that POG, tap in, see where it takes you, read what I've put here that is a direct personal note to you, and then we will engage from there and see how fast and how far we can move you along based on the rails of your budget, your time, your assets, your energy, your approach, your scope, your theme. We can go on and on, but all those things work in. And no doubt, this is something that will change everything you're doing and put you on a path that is not only taking advantage of something new, but something that's growing, emerging, and going to become very pop cultural in the short period of time that we expect over the next 6 to 8, 10 months. So anyhow, I'm excited. I want you to tap in. I look forward to sending you your POG. You're gonna, you've already got it. That's how you got this video. And the video or the explanation down below in text is quick, just to kind of give you an idea of where I think we can go with your particular application. Then I want you to tap in on your other POGs so that you can see it taking you somewhere and hopefully to some degree matching up with the explanation I gave you. And get excited, because this can change everything for you if we just get it in place in enough time. All right. Welcome to the Tap In Network. Yes, I tend to be the guy that will spend a lot of time explaining stuff, and I hope that serves you, because that's the reason and the purpose that I do it. I put all my effort and energy into how we can make this happen, and then when it comes time to deliver it, then we have to be able to do it in a way that you can understand, and me talking to you constantly just doesn't cut the mustard. But when you tap in and you get to sense that phygital connection, and then you start experiencing it, especially in your own world, it becomes an exciting thing that you realize is very powerful and refreshing. And it gives us an opportunity to kind of, like I said, shift away from the kind of advertising, the attack that happens, the interruptions that happen, the extra content that you have to consume in order to consume content. It takes all of that away, and it puts us all into the kind of a nice playing area where when we do mention our value, it's in context with value that you need. And by doing that, we fulfill kind of the mission that we're on. That's bigger, higher than just trying to market our products, but it's trying to market it in a way that serves others and benefits us as a result. And if we do that, well, then we've accomplished something pretty awesome. And that's what NFC Swag is all about. So thanks for being here. We're just going to keep on moving and compel you to continue to, I got to finish it with these two words, tap in. Cheers.